Hey guys, I just want to jump back in here with another video real quick, kind of based on the same subject matter. Active shooter, responsive, a concealed weapons holder. In the event that you run into these situations, prior to this ever happening, I need you to do some research. The shitstorm that you're about to step into, the minute that you even draw your weapon in a public format, okay? I don't give a fuck if it's at the Colorado, fucking Batman theater, or if it's, it isn't, I mean, you could have been standing in the hallway at Columbine. You are entering a shitstorm the minute that you draw that weapon. And so I don't want to say this to dissuade you from responding accordingly with the necessary force that you're going to be, required to produce here. I don't want to take away from that. But I also want you to read up on the laws and what your responsibilities are going to be if you ever pull this out to do harm to another individual, no matter how fucking deranged, no matter how aggressive, how criminal, how whatever. Okay, the minute that you draw this weapon, you have just opened Pandora's box. We don't live in a society of the 1880s, okay, when the threat that was required to defend yourself was pretty straightforward. That guy's armed, I'm armed, he meant to do me harm and I was faster, end of story. Those days are gone. Now you're going to have a bunch of fucking faggot bureaucrat liberal fucking attorneys and DAs and fucking retarded drunk judge who's going to effectively fuck your life up. So the life that you saved, being your own and possibly others, but the one that's going to matter is yours, because you are the responsive shooter to the active shooter that we were just discussing. And some, fucking Berkeley attorney, free love, hippie, fucking save the whales faggot fucking attorney is going to be representing the asshole that you just put down. And he is going to make you out to be the devil's own nutsack. Okay? Be prepared for it. Be mentally prepared for it. Be legally prepared for it. Have a fucking attorney on speed dial is the point I'm trying to make here. And make sure he's a good one. Don't hire yourself a fucking Berkeley reject. You need somebody who really understands the law. Because you have to understand that this is in fact going to be a very, very high profile, at least in your area, situation. And chances are you're going to go in front of a jury of your peers. So think about that too. Where do you live? What kind of people are going to be in the pool of your jury? What kind of what kind of judges do you have? Do you have pro Second Amendment judges in place? You need to do a little more research, a little more in-depth research on your area. Let's face it, if you live in a fucking hippie commune that everybody around you is anti-gun, anti-violence, a bunch of free love, lay with the fucking lilies faggots, you probably just ought to move. So that in the event you are ever confronted with this situation, you may survive it without going to prison for the rest of your life. Having your fellow community members call for your head on a platter. Because that's the thing that's going to determine your either freedom after or your incarceration after. Just because you're right doesn't always mean you're right. Not in the eyes of the law today. If you go to a constitutionally based law, a libertarian ideology, then absolutely, all day long. You shoot a man who's shooting at you, and it's end of story. That, used to be you never even got arrested. Matter of fact, the sheriff might buy you a fucking drink. But those days are gone. Those days don't exist anymore. I live in North Texas, which is a pretty libertarian mindset. They're pretty right wing, pro Second Amendment, the whole 9 yards. Pretty conservative mindset. And even there, I can tell you that I would be in one fuck of a pickle if I was to shoot an active shooter here even in North Texas. Because there is enough, Obama supporting left-wing liberal fucking hide behind the bushes queers in this area that I'd be awful hard pressed not to end up with at least 3 or 4 on my fucking jury out of 12. You see what I'm getting at? So take into consideration what it is that you're doing when you put your gun on every morning. I put mine on every morning. The Second Amendment is my gun permit. Yeah, it's all great. I go out there and I puff my chest out to the world and I say, you see this right here? This is how I think. But I'm not stupid enough to believe that everybody else thinks that way. And we do have a legal system in this country that allows other people to dictate what happens to you. So just because I'm a Second Amendment supporter and I'm a self-defense advocate and I put myself out there as a sheepdog to protect the people who aren't quite as aggressive in that as I am, I also have to take into account that those are going to be the people who are going to be judging me in the event that some shit comes apart. So, every day I get up and I read this document. This document right here is the Constitution of the United States. Now, that being said, there's a hell of a lot of people out there who are going to be sitting on my jury that have never read this document. Never. Most of them haven't even heard the preamble to this document. Okay? This document right here is what was intended to assure how the world viewed my actions with the right to keep and bear arms and self-defense and in the defense of my property, my liberty, my freedom. All that shit was in here. But most of these people that are going to be sitting on your jury have never even read it. So, they're basing their decisions on your freedom about what they heard on the fucking Jerry Springer show. Think about that. That, if nothing else, ought to turn your fucking bowels to liquid. Okay? Because right, wrong, or indifferent, fact-based, common sense, so on and so on. A lot of that shit's not going to pertain when you go to court to defend yourself against an active shooter situation, self-defense, shooting, whatever. Okay? And again, the cops aren't always going to be your friends. Matter of fact, 99% of the time, they're not your friend. So get that in your head too. When the cavalry shows up, they ain't there to save you. Okay? So keep that in mind as well. The things that you say, the things you do, are going to directly affect the outcome after the shooting, after the incident, after you defended yourself and everybody else in the grocery store. That's just the beginning. That took 30 seconds. The rest of this shit could take 30 years. You see what I'm getting at? So do a little research, read up on that stuff before you decide in your mind what your response is going to be. Okay? And I'm not saying that playing the fucking Lone Ranger and shooting the gun out of his hand is going to make you any safer than putting one in his fucking tee box and ending the story. Because I'll tell you, you may be better off, I don't know, I'm not saying one way or the other, but you may be better off not to have a witness. Okay? Maybe his side of the story is not going to reflect well on you. I don't know. And then again, maybe it will. Okay? If they can prove that he was mentally unstable and deranged, that may go better for you in court. I don't know. But like I said, do the research before this happens. Don't be trying to play catch up. Later. Watch your six.